When I was a child, back in the 60s, I was riding with my Uncle Bob, and we were near the Snyder Creek, and we saw some sage-grouse. We enjoyed them for lunch, and they were the best thing. That's probably not what you want to hear. As I said, it was in the 60s, and now we just admire the bird. And as time goes on, we're seeing more and more sage-grouse.
Well, when I was young doing this, we'd never see them. Now, I don't know a day goes by that we don't see them when we're moving cattle.
Sage-grouse is actually an indicator species. They're an umbrella species. So what's good for the bird is good for the herd. If we are able to focus on sage-grouse and improving the habitat and rangeland health that affects them directly, we're actually doing that for a whole suite of rangeland health.
So we're doing beneficial restoration of the sage-grouse while benefiting our business. Hi, Brandy.
Hi, how are you doing?
Oh, great.
So U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service is essentially the agency that permit the CCAAs, and then the Soil and Water Conservation Districts work with each landowner who is going to enroll on a site-specific plan. And those site-specific plans are really iterative. They're not a one-size-fits-all approach, and the Soil and Water Conservation Districts work with the landowner to find places for ecological uplift as well as things that help benefit the landowner.
You have a situation where you've got professionals coming in, they are in your living room, you're sharing a cup of coffee, you're talking about how you manage your grazing and your lands, and you're sharing the realities of serious situations that we're in right now, like drought and climate change. We are creating relationships that lift everything, not just grouse habitat.
We started with juniper thinning. To support a juniper, it takes several hundred gallons a day, and once you remove that from the landscape, it can stay in the ground and recharge your springs.
We now have access to water that we wouldn't, good clean water, and that has helped with not only our grazing but the overall health of wildlife, the sage-grouse included.
We have data out there from collared sage-grouse where we, follow the sage-grouse around when the juniper was still there. And then we come in, we treat the site, remove the juniper, and, chase sage-grouse again. And just how it happens that now they're moving into those sites. And so we will reference a lot of that data to show that juniper removal or treating annual grasses or spring developments is actually a really beneficial project for sage-grouse.
The 12-mile area there, we started with 3 pastures, and now there's 15. Having multiple pastures has really allowed us to be flexible, to be able to control the grazing for a short amount of time. Benefits the landscape, it also benefits the cattle.
We've actually constructed a lot of fencing throughout their pastures so that we can avoid the seasonal life cycle of sage-grouse. So if they are on the lekking sites, then we're farther from the lekking sites. If they're in the nesting, we're farther from the nesting sites.
Wildlife don't abide by any boundaries, whether those are transcontinental or between federal and privately managed lands. And so having these large tracts of contiguous landscape are really important for sage-grouse and for other species. And so if everyone is communicating about the things that are happening on the landscape, then you essentially are amplifying the things that are happening on the landscape in a good way.
I mean, if you look at a map of this country, it's so checkerboarded. And so if you don't do stuff with them, I mean, it's just kind of a waste of time and wastes a lot of money. If you can get everybody on board, then you don't have to get nitpicky with the lines and stuff. So that's saved quite a bit of time and money.
A lot, and that collaboration with our public land managers like BLM has been fantastic. And you can actually combine resources and end up doing a lot bigger project at the landscape scale that, you know, makes more sense for sage-grouse.
I am just feeling really grateful to get a chance to talk about the CCAA program and what it means for the rural communities on the east side of Oregon. This is just a gift to both the land and the people that live in this region.
We want to be able to do these things, and without the programs like CCAA, we wouldn't be able to do them.
We're just grateful to be a part of it and have the opportunity to work with Brandy and the other partners, BLM, Forest Service, NRCS, and everybody has the same goal, and you need everybody.
We need our state partners to come right in with our landowner community, and we need to all understand that we are serving the greater good of Oregon. We have over 18 million acres of important sage-steppe, sage-grouse habitat on the east side of Oregon, and we've already enrolled over 500,000 acres worth of private family ranches. And there's actually another 1 million acres worth of families wanting to do good things for sage-grouse and all the sage-steppe habitat. So we should get to work on that.